So in the late 90s, early aughts, I was living in Brooklyn with my then boyfriend, now husband, and a good friend of mine was dating a guy who was fine. Like, he was fine. She was amazing. He was fine. And we could tell it was getting serious, and I thought about, like, do I say something to her? And then I was like, he's fine. Like, there's nothing to complain about. He's fine. And then he proposed. And it's like, you can't really say to your friend, like, are you sure? After she's like, yay, I got engaged! And I ran into another friend of ours, and I was like, so they got engaged? She's like, yeah, I was just about to tell her that maybe she wasn't doing so great. I was like, me too! But you just don't do that, right? You don't say, are you sure? Apparently, unless you're my future mother-in-law. So about a year or two later, Sam proposes. I say yes. We go through all that. And I go out to drinks with a girlfriend, and we're sitting at the bar, and she says to me, I gotta ask you, are you sure? What? And, you know, I thought back to the couple years before, and like, when I was gonna ask my friend if she was sure, it really was coming from a good place, right? It was like, I was worried about my friend. She was a superstar, he was fine, I don't know. And so I looked at my friend, different friend, who was now looking at me going, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And she was like, I don't know, I don't see you two together. You're this superstar, he's fine. And you know, it occurred to me that she knew me really, really well, but she didn't know him all that well. And I thought, okay, I get it. And maybe that's what was going on with my friend. And I was like, it was fine. We kept drinking, and I came home that night, and I was like, oh my God. She's like, are you sure? So yeah, I was sure. And then we started planning this very long engagement that was very difficult on several levels. And at one point, we were having a destination wedding, which meant, in my brother's words, it was equally inconvenient for everybody involved. But we were checking out the venue and doing some stuff, and my dad met us, and we had dinner with my dad, and we did, you know, dad weekend stuff. And we were staying in the bed and breakfast where we were getting married, and he said to me, you know, after you get ready for bed and everything, will you come down to my room? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, just you. And I was like, okay. And so I sit down with my dad, and he's like, I don't know that I would be a good father if I didn't say this, but how are you two gonna support yourselves? Which was my dad's way of saying, are you sure? Because my dad's language was money. And it was true. I was a nonprofit arts administrator, and my husband was in grad school at the time to be a teacher. So like, really, how were we gonna support each other? And I just looked at him and I said, listen, it's not gonna look like the life that you and mom gave me and my brother, but we'll figure it out. I'm not super concerned. And that put that to bed, I guess. And so we had a lot of adversity, a lot of people on both sides asking, are you sure? And I don't know, I don't think I've ever really cared what anyone thought, so it didn't really faze me. I was like, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. It's fine. I'm sure. 20 years later, 19 years later, I'll tell you this. I am not sure. I am not sure about anything. I don't know how anyone is ever sure about anything. I don't know what I was thinking when my dad was like, how are you gonna support yourselves? I didn't know, because I didn't know how expensive life was. I didn't know how expensive kids were. I didn't know anything. We were 22 when we were set up on a blind date. We knew nothing. We weren't sure then, we're not sure now. But I will tell you, we wake up every morning and make the choice to stay together, and that's all I got.